Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. And if you are new here, my name is Kami and I am a part-time fashion reseller on Poshmark, which is a really cool online platform where you can sell pre-owned and new clothing. So today I am going to go over the second half of March's sales that I had on Poshmark. I had planned to do two what sold videos between the 2.5 weeks that were left, but that did not happen. So we are going to go from March 13th through the end of March, March 31st. And I'm just going to tell you right now, March was my best month ever. Now, mind you, I haven't been reselling, but maybe like 8-9 months, maybe a little bit longer than that. But I was so thrilled with the results from Poshmark sales. And I have one reason that I know that drove all those sales. It is because I consistently listed. I don't know that I shared my closet more than once a day. And there were probably 2 or 3 instances where I went like 2 or 3 days without sharing my closet. So it definitely was not sharing. I was consistent with listing though. So I listed, just depended, 4 to 8 items per day, depending on how many photos I had taken, because I like to take them in bulk and then spread them across a certain time period until I'm ready to take pictures again. And that definitely drove sales to my closet. So I think I really had some good success in February, and then in January from doing this as well. I definitely shared a lot more in January and February than I did in March, but March was my best month to date. So we're going to go over the sales, and then at the end I will go over my total numbers for the month, and I'm excited to share these things with you. As always, I have my iPad here with all of my information, and then I'm going to have a screenshot of the item here that will kind of give you an idea of what it looked like. So we are going to be doing sales from March 13th through the 31st for the end of March. So to start out, March 13th, I sold 4 items. One was a bundle of 3 items. So the one single item I sold that day was this Nike black workout tank top. I did have it for a long time before it sold. I ended up taking an offer of $11, or I think it was closet clear out. So I sent them an offer, like a message saying that I could lower it to $11 and they would get discounted shipping. My cost of goods was only $1 at the Goodwill outlet or the bins. So my profit ended up being $7.05, and it did take 245 days to sell. So I was happy to see it go. And then the 3 item bundle that I had consisted of this Kalia black striped long sleeve top that I got at a Goodwill, and it took 54 days to sell. Also this Banana Republic new velvet green wrap top. I got that at the Goodwill outlet. It sold in 114 days. I remember I listed it right before Christmas and I was hoping it would sell for a Christmas item, but it did not. And then the 3rd item was this Bravado The Who white tank top. I thought it'd be perfect for tie-dyeing. I got that at the Goodwill outlet as well, and it took 122 days to sell. So in total, the bundle sold for $37. My cost of goods was $6.29, so my profit after fees and cost of goods was $23.31. On March 14th, I sold 2 items. First was this Gap purple belted shorts. It was really cute, and I thought perfect for the upcoming season. I relisted it because I did have it listed last summer and it did not sell. So it sold for $14. My cost of goods was $2.17 at a Goodwill. So my profit ended up being $8.88, which I thought was pretty good for a Gap item. And it took 121 days to sell, but as we know, it's probably someone purchasing it for the upcoming season. And then I sold this pair of Torrid relaxed boot faded jeans. They sold for $22, but I did provide a shipping discount. My cost of goods was $3.38 at a consignment store in my area. So my profit ended up being $12.72. It did take 110 days. I love selling Torrid, but recently I have seen a decline in Torrid jean sales, but I think again, that's kind of like just the next season coming up. people are looking more for torrid shorts if they're looking for like plus size shorts. So I did actually sell a pair. I don't know if it's going to be in this video or the next, but I have seen that shorts selling a lot more frequently. So it took 110 days to sell, and my profit ended up being $12.72. On March 15th, I sold 4 items. First was this Athleta gray heathered Baja pullover. It sold for $25. My cost of goods was $5.99 at Goodwill, so my profit was $14.01, and it took only 44 days to sell. Then I sold this Lafayette 148 blue stripe button-up dress. I remember finding this at a garage sale, at a neighborhood garage sale, actually in the neighborhood across from where we're building our new house at. And I was so excited because I knew it was a designer piece, and I thought it's plus size, it is gonna sell so quickly. I was wrong. So it took 153 days to sell. It did sell for $25, a little less than what I wanted to take, but I wanted to go ahead and get rid of it. And my cost of goods was only $1.05 averaged out for garage sales that day. So my profit ended up being $18.95. I'm kind of leery on picking up this brand because I have picked up, I believe, 1 or 2 other things by the brand in plus size, and it just has been sitting. So we'll see if I pick it up if I find it again. Then I sold this pair of Nike blue dry fit shorts. They sold for $10. My cost of goods was only 63 cents at the Goodwill outlet. So my profit was $6.42, and it sold in 81 days. And then the last item that I sold on the 15th was this North Face men's pair of tan shorts. They sold for $10. My cost of goods was 65 cents at the Goodwill outlet. And so my profit ended up being $6.40, and they sold in 105 days. March 16th was a big day. I sold 6 items. First was this Kashik new convertible plunge black bra. It sold for $17. My cost of goods was $2.99 at a Goodwill. And so my profit ended up being $10.61. Now this did sell for a little bit less than what I normally sell Kashik bras for, especially new with tag bras, but it was just a plain black bra. So like there was no like embroidery on it. There was nothing really special about it. And it sold within 11 days. So I was happy to get the profit that I did off of it. Then I sold this Patagonia purple better sweater jacket. It sold for $55, and it sold within, I believe, 2 hours of me listing it. So sold the same day. My cost of goods was only $8 at a thrift store in Atlanta when we took our trip there now at this point about a month ago. And so after cost of goods and fees, my profit was $32. I love picking up Patagonia, and I typically find it in pretty good condition when I do find it. It's kind of rare to find it around here. Obviously, I found this outside of Oklahoma, but the next item I sold was this pair of Free People purple jeans. Now, I picked these up because this was the first Free People item I ever saw. This was last year, and I was so excited. I didn't stop to think, it's a small size. It is a very bright purple color pair of jeans, and it just, I don't know. People don't tend to pick up colored jeans, at least in my experience of reselling and my own personal experience of purchasing. But they sold for $18. My cost of goods was $3.90 at a Goodwill, so my profit ended up being $10.50. It did take 146 days to sell. The next item was this pair of Chacos. Now, I got these and they were actually my size, but I'm not a huge sandal person. I really wish though that I would have tried it on, tried them like out for a couple days, but I did not. But they were a pair of gray strap sandals. They sold for $44 with a shipping discount. My cost of goods was 65 cents at the bins. Yes, you heard that right. I found them at the bins and they were in excellent condition. And my profit ended up being $33.05, and they sold within 89 days, which is a little bit longer than the 2 to 3 month period that I am shooting for, but they still sold within, right within those 3 months at 89 days. So the next item was a Lane Bryant pair of super stretch ankle pink jeans. These were not bright pink. They were kind of a muted pink, almost salmon-like. And they actually did have a flaw on them. They had a little silver mark on one of the legs, but I sold them for $20. My cost of goods was only $3.90 at a Goodwill. So my profit ended up being $8.10. It took 151 days to sell, but the buyer was really happy to receive them. And then the last item that sold on the 16th. We have a little story on this. So this was a pair of Fabletics Camo Power Hold leggings. So the Power Hold leggings Fabletics was stamped onto the back of the inside of the leggings, but the size tag was missing. So I measured and I took a screenshot of the Fabletics sizing chart, and I put all that information in there. There's no size chart, but based on the measurements, this is the size I believe they are, which I thought it was a little bit off, but I was going off of their size chart, and I measured several times just to triple check and make sure that I got the right measurements. They sold, and when the buyer received them, she said, "Oh, I have 6 other pairs of this type of legging. These are not this size. I think I had them at a small." And I said, unfortunately, I did put the size chart in the description or in the pictures of the listing, and I did note all measurements. So unfortunately, you can't return it based on fit. And she went back and forth and even put a picture of her measuring, because Poshmark requested that picture from her, and she said, "See, it's 33 inches, not I think it was 20, something like that." And she was actually looking at the centimeters part, and I said, "No, the top part is the inches," and she said, "No, that's the feet." And so I sent I was trying to talk to Poshmark. I've heard it's you want to direct your statements to Poshmark and not the buyer. And so I was trying to explain, no, what you can see per her picture, she's talking about centimeters. And then in her picture, you can still see the inches, and I was correct in my measurement. And she responded back saying, "Well, neither here nor there, whether I'm correct or not, these were marked as a size small and they're not." So based on all that information, I thought I did everything I could. And I even told this to Poshmark. I said, I did everything that I could as a buyer to ensure that or as a seller to ensure that the buyer has all information that they need to be able to see if it's going to fit them before purchasing. And I was really thinking they were going to roll in my favor. And instead they rolled in both of our favors. So she got a free pair of leggings, got her money back, and I got my funds released, which was still a little upsetting just because, again, I provided all the information that I could to her, and she still, didn't look at that information or something. So that was a little frustrating, and I've definitely learned my lesson in being a little cautious about picking up Fabletics pants without size tags, because obviously there's something going on with their size chart that's just not making sense. So anyway, that pair of leggings sold for $25. My cost of goods was $4.99 at a Goodwill. And so after cost of goods, fees, all that, I made $11.01 for all that headache, and they sold in 8 days. On March 17th, I sold 2 items. First was this Lululemon blue long sleeve top. This also sold same day as I listed it, and it even had a big discoloration on the front that I noted, and it sold so quickly. I had so many likes on it. Because of that, I did let it go for a little bit less than if it hadn't had that stain. So it sold for $20. My cost of goods was $1.99 at a thrift store in Atlanta, and my profit was $14.01. And like I said, it sold within a couple hours of me listing it. And then the second item kind of surprised me with how quickly it sold. It was this pair of Old Navy new mid-rise curvy bootcut jeans. These were actually a pair of my own jeans that I've had in my closet that I'm trying to fit into, and I said, we're moving, I need to get rid of some of the stuff that I don't fit in yet. So I listed them, and they sold for $20. My profit ended up being $16, and they sold within hours of listing them. I was kind of shocked because Old Navy is a pretty inexpensive brand. It's not as sought after, and I feel like the market is flooded with Old Navy items. So that was a good surprise. March 18th, I had 4 items. The first was this Torrid black low high skirt. It sold for $15. My cost of goods was only 63 cents at the Goodwill outlet, so my profit ended up being $11.37, and it took 75 days to sell. Then this one was really exciting. It was this Nike vintage purple and pink windbreaker. I also got this in Atlanta at a thrift store. I only paid $6 for it. It sold in 1 day of listing it for full price, I believe. I may have sent a little bit off, I'm not exactly sure, but Important thing, it sold for $50. I was really excited by this, and my profit ended up being $34 after all that. It sold really quickly, and I was really happy to find it. It was really cool, had 90s, almost late 80s kind of vibes. Loved it. Then I sold this Grace and Emma black floral kimono. Now I did pick this up at the bins. My cost of goods was only 78 cents, and I thought that it was really cute. And when I was at the bins going through my things, I thought I had looked up to see if this brand was actually a noted brand in Poshmark, because I try to stick to just the brands that Poshmark actually has in their system. And I swore that I found it, and it was, but when I went to list it, it was not. So I had it up for a little bit and decided to go ahead and let it go for $9. So my profit ended up being $5.27. It did take 69 days to sell, but I was happy to see it go, specifically because no one's, I don't think, is looking for this brand, or if they do, it's not noted as a specific brand. Then I sold this Orange Creek new with tags hot pink blazer cardigan. I thought this was going to take a while to sell because I ended up actually taking it to a buy-sell trade store and they did not buy it. I decided to list it. It was, I think, like a boutique type brand, but it was in Poshmark as a brand. So it sold for $10. My cost of goods was 78 cents. And so my profit ended up being $6.27, and it sold within 57 days. March 19th, I only had one item sell, but it was this Disney princess cropped sweatshirt. It had, I believe, like names of the princesses and like an emoji kind of thing that went along with their story. It sold for $12. My cost of goods was only 65 cents at the Goodwill outlet, so my profit ended up being $8.40, but it did take a little bit longer than I thought for it to sell. It took 128 days. March 20th, I sold one item as well. It was this torrid black cold shoulder wrap top. It sold for $16. My cost of goods was $3.50 at a disabled American veterans thrift store. They call them Red Racks. And my profit ended up being $9.30, and it took 75 days to sell. March 21st, I sold three items. First was this pair of Nike white running shorts. They sold for $12. My cost of goods was only $1 at a local thrift store that helps out those recovering from alcohol addictions and things like that, and coming out of jail. So I do like to go there every so often. They have a really small clothing section, and I don't typically find a whole lot, but I do like to support it. So my profit ended up being $8.05, and it took 95 days to sell. Then I sold this torrid sunflower tank top, and this took a little bit longer than I thought to sell, but it was a little bit older of a style. It sold for $12. My cost of goods was $2.25 at a garage sale. So my profit ended up being $6.20, and it took 127 days to sell. Then the last item that sold on the 21st was this Karl Lagerfeld pink white floral top. Now this was actually free to me. One of my husband's coworkers knows that I sell on Poshmark, and she gave me a big old box of stuff, and so my cost of goods was $0. It sold for $20, so my profit ended up being $16, and it sold within 8 days. March 22nd was also a very busy day. I sold 6 items, and one of them was a 2-item bundle. So the 2-item bundle was this pair of universal thread cuffed denim shorts. My cost of goods was 86 cents on this item, and I got it at the Goodwill outlet. It did take 50 days to sell. And then this Kashik black cream lace bra. My cost of goods was $1.32 at the Goodwill outlet, and it took 5 days to sell. So in total, the bundle sold for $37. My cost of goods, I think, was just a little bit over $2. I forgot to add it together, but after all of the fees, cost of goods, my profit ended up being $27.42. This next item I was pretty excited about. It is this pair of Rock Revival Riker straight jeans for men. I had a great time thrifting in Atlanta, and as you can see, a lot of that stuff sold. I found these in Atlanta at a thrift store for $7.99, and they sold for $70, and they sold within a week. They sold in 6 days. So my profit after cost of goods, all of that junk, is $48.01. I was really happy about that sale. Then I sold this Athleta pink knot shirt. It was like an activewear lightweight shirt, and it had a little knot detail on the front. It sold for $14. My cost of goods was only $2.99 at Goodwill, so my profit was $8.06, and it took 69 days to sell. Then I sold this pair of Maurice's gray casual leggings for $8. My cost of goods was $0. It was given to me by a friend, so my profit was $5.05, and it took 21 days to sell. And the last thing that sold on the 22nd was this pair of Free People Redland sandals. My mom actually picked this up at a garage sale last summer for me for $3. It sold for $15, so my profit was $9, but it did take quite a little bit to sell. It took 209 days, but I was happy with the profit. Okay, so March 23rd was a really big day, so if you need to take a break, go get a drink, I would. I sold a total of 10 items, and 4 of those items was in a bundle. So the bundle consisted of 4 Torrid items. First was this pink cropped jacket. My cost of goods was $2.25 at a garage sale, and it took 148 days to sell. Then was this Torrid black eyelet top. It was almost semi-sheer. It took, my cost of goods was $5.49, and I got it at a Goodwill, and it took 235 days to sell. Then was this Torrid green knit sleeveless top. I believe it was part of their like super soft line. It took 32 days to sell, and I purchased it at a Goodwill for $4.34. And finally, this Torrid sheer black tank top for $2.25 at a garage sale, and it took 128 days to sell. So all 4 of those items, I gave this by a really good deal for $60 for all 4 of those items with a $1.50 shipping discount. So my profit ended up being, after cost of goods and fees, $31.67. Then I sold this Harley Davidson miscellaneous items lot. So my husband's coworker gave me a bunch of stuff, like I mentioned, and she had like Geico themed Harley Davidson bandanas. There was a pair of non-branded goggles for riding a motorcycle, a pair of gloves, and something else, but you should see in the picture here. But I didn't want to piece it out. I didn't think it was worth it to piece it out. So I listed it all together as one lot, and it sold for $20. My cost of goods was $0 because it was given to me. My profit was $16, and it sold the same day that I listed it. Next, I sold this pair of Jack Rogers cork slide-on shoes. They sold for $35, which I was pretty happy about. This is the first time and only time that I found this brand. I did provide the buyer a $1.50 shipping discount. My cost of goods was only $3.75 at a Goodwill. So my profit ended up being $22.75, and they took 92 days to sell. Then I sold this Athleta brown fuzzy jacket. It sold for $30. My cost of goods was $7.99 at a Goodwill, which I wish I would have thought about that a little bit more, because that was a little bit higher of a cost of goods for this jacket, because the Athleta tag was definitely an older Athleta tag. So it was definitely an older style, but it finally sold, and my profit ended up being $16.01, and it took 67 days to sell. Then I sold this Nike green and white pair of race shorts for $9. My cost of goods was free. I got it from a lot of stuff I got from someone off of Nextdoor. My profit was $6.05, and it only took 2 days to sell. It was definitely an older style of shorts. So that's why I let it go for that price. Then I sold this Victoria's Secret white lace slip. It sold for $15. My cost of goods was $1 at a garage sale, and so my profit ended up being $11, and it sold in 196 days. Then finally, on the 23rd, I sold this Torrid purple push-up bra. It sold for $20. My cost of goods was $1.32 at the Goodwill outlet, so my profit was $14.68, and it took 7 days to sell. On March 24th, I sold one item. It was this pair of Coach black Mulan boots. They sold for $35, and I provided a $1.50 shipping discount. My cost of goods I'm attributing is $0. I did purchase them at a local consignment store, but I had credit and I used that for them. I did let them go for a little bit lower because the inside part of the heel was peeling, and yeah, it had some damage. So I let it go for $35. And so my profit ended up being $26.50, and it took 14 days to sell. Then on March 25th, I sold 7 items. One was a 2-item bundle. So the 2-item bundle consisted of this Lane Bryant pair of gray capris. My cost of goods was 63 cents at the bins, and it took 106 days to sell. Then this Living Doll, which I think is a boutique brand, new blue and purple top. Now this has got to be the oldest item that I've sold, the longest that an item has taken to sell. I picked this up on my very first thrifting to resell trip, and it was not a good decision. So I paid $5.49 at a Goodwill, and it sold in, wait for it, 320 days. I'm so ashamed. But it all sold for $15. I gave a really good bundle discount. And so my profit was a total of $5.88 on 2 items. But I was really happy to see that shirt go. I just wanted it gone. Then I sold this pair of Michael Kors purple Izzy cropped skinny jeans. These sold for $16. They were from my own closet. Again, stuff I wasn't wearing, couldn't fit into. And so my cost of goods was 0. Profit ended up being $12.80, and it only took 8 days to sell. Sorry, the lighting's changed a little bit. I have a window open here, so the sun's kind of going down. But then I sold this Cabela's purple button-up shirt. It had like a Western print on it. It sold for $10. My cost of goods was 73 cents at a garage sale, so my profit ended up being $6.32 and took 248 days to sell. Then I sold this pair of American Eagle slim boot jeans. They sold for $12. My cost of goods was $1.84, and I got them at a garage sale as well. My profit ended up being $7.21, and they took 54 days to sell. I sold this Lululemon blue floral bra tank top. It was like a tank top with a built-in sports bra, and it sold for $20. My cost of goods was 0. Again, this was another item that I got at the consignment store, but I used my credit on it, so I'm attributing a $0 cost of goods. And so my profit was $16, and it took 20 days to sell. And finally, this pair of Ashley Stewart new black, blue, yellow pants. They were wide, maybe straight leg pants. They were new at tag. They ended up selling for $10. I just wanted to see them go. I was tired of sharing them. My cost of goods was $2.25 at a garage sale. So my profit ended up being $4.80, and they took 131 days to sell. All right, we're getting in the home stretch of things. I'm sorry for the very long video. March 26th, I sold 5 items. First was this pair of UGG purple thong sandals. They sold for $13. My cost of goods was $1.30, and I picked them up at a garage sale. Now, they weren't dirty because I did clean them, but they had a little bit of wear to the top part where your toes go. And so my profit ended up being $8.75, and they took 241 days to sell. I then sold this Eileen Fisher pink ruffled tank top. It sold for $12. My cost of goods was 0. It was in a bag of stuff that another local reseller gave me for free. And so my profit ended up being $8.57, and it took 167 days to sell. Then I sold this Nike black orange dry fit shorts. These were actually my husband's, so $0 cost of goods. They sold for $12, and so my profit was $9.05, and they only took 2 days to sell. Then I sold this Torrid new Merlot purple red baby doll lace dress. It was new at tags. It sold for $30 with a $1.50 shipping discount. My cost of goods was $1.32 at the Goodwill outlet. My profit was $21.18, and it took 13 days to sell. And then finally on the 26th, I sold this pair of Madewell 10-inch high-rise skinny jeans. They were high-rise, they were skinny. I didn't know what took them so long to sell, but they sold for $37. My cost of goods was $8.38 at a Goodwill. My profit was $21.22, and like I said, they did not sell as fast as I was thinking they would, so it took 134 days to sell. March 27th, I sold one item. It was this Coach Mini Burrow Bramble bag. It was like a handheld bag, but it originally came with a crossbody strap, which it did not. I did not get it. I bought it at a garage sale, and it just didn't. They didn't include it with the bag. I don't know if they lost it or what, but it sold for $37. My cost of goods was $10 at a garage sale, so my profit was $19.60, and it took 122 days to sell. March 28th, I sold 3 items. First was this Kashik black lace mesh bra. It sold for $16. My cost of goods was $0 because I had messaged someone who was having a garage sale and asked if they had any items left over. In particular, I was looking for Torrid items because she said that there were going to be some of those. And she took a while to get back to me and said, you know what, I was gonna, she gave me the prices of stuff, but she said, you know what, just come and take whatever you want. So I came and took everything. So this was one of the items. So my profit ended up being $12.80, and it took 6 days to sell. This next item I also got from that garage sale leftover lot. It was this Livy, which is Lane Bryant Activewear, purple blue multicolor pair of shorts. They sold for $10. Cost of goods was $0, and so my profit ended up being $7.05, and they sold in 5 days. And the last thing on the 28th to sell was this American Eagle pair of relaxed jeans. They sold for $15. My cost of goods was 65 cents at the bins, so my profit ended up being $11.35, and they took 117 days to sell. March 29th, I had 4 items sell. First was this pair of Birkenstock brown strap sandals. Now I attributed $0 because I had actually got them at the bins, but I got them for myself, and after wearing them a few times, I just didn't find them comfortable. I wanted to try out Birkenstocks just to see, but these were definitely a little bit more worn, so I don't know if that's why they were uncomfortable to me, but I decided to just go ahead and sell them. So they sold for $30. My profit ended up being $24, and they only took 3 days to sell. Then I sold this pair of 7 for All Mankind denim shorts. They were super cute. They had like cuffing at the bottom, and they sold for $10. This was, I believe, in a bag that the local reseller that I'm friends with gave me to resell. So my cost of goods was $0. Profit ended up being $7.05, and they took 38 days to sell. Then I sold this Torrid walnut polka dot chalice midi dress. I try to list exactly what Torrid lists their title as. So my cost of goods was $7. I'm trying to figure out, I think it sold for $25. I forgot to put that down. My profit ended up being $13, and it took 0 days to sell. It sold the same day. So I think they sold for $25. Cost of goods was $7, and so my profit was $13. And then the last thing to sell that day was this Columbia pair of tan belted shorts. They sold for $15. My cost of goods was 65 cents at the bin, so my profit ended up being $11.35, and they took 119 days to sell. March 30th, I sold 5 items. First was this Torrid blue floral shirt. It was $12. I sold for $12. It was definitely a smaller size. I think it was like a size 0 in Torrid, and I have a harder time moving those sizes of Torrid, but it did sell. My cost of goods was $2.60 at a Salvation Army, so my profit was $6.45, and it took 118 days to sell. Then I sold this pair of cool KUHL black drawstring pants. They were $18, sold for $18. My cost of goods was $5.99 at a Goodwill. My profit ended up being $8.41, and they only took 11 days to sell. Then I sold this pair of Athleta Studio wide leg pant. Now I picked these up at a thrift store in Atlanta, and when I looked, they were still available for sale on the Athleta website, and they had come out at the very end of 2020. So I was really happy to find those in a thrift store, and they were on sale for $1. So my cost of goods was $1. They sold for $35 with a $1.50 shipping discount, and so my profit ended up being $25.50, and they sold in 23 days. Then I sold this pair of Lululemon reversible shorts. I'm sure you can see here, you could flip them inside out. One I think was a dark gray on one side, and then the other side was a purple with, I believe, a zebra print. Really cute. They sold for $27. My cost of goods was only 63 cents because I found them at the Goodwill outlet. So my profit ended up being $20.97, and they took 83 days to sell. Then I sold this Nike gray Sportswear Rally Crew sweatshirt for $20 with a $1.50 shipping discount. I picked this up at a Goodwill for $4.99. I thought it was a real classic crew neck sweatshirt look. My profit ended up being $9.51, and it only took 17 days to sell. And finally, the last day of the month, we made it. March 31st, I sold 3 items. First was this Lane Bryant green bell sleeve top. I'd had it forever. It was really close to hitting the 320 days that the other item was. It sold for $9. My cost of goods was $1 at a garage sale, so my profit ended up being $5.05, and it took 301 days to sell. Then I sold this torrid blue chambray button-up dress. It was super cute. I think it had a very almost vintagey look, and it sold for $29 with a $1.50 shipping discount. I paid $2.50 for this at a Goodwill, so my profit ended up being $19.20, and it took 17 days to sell. And finally, the last item that sold in March was this pair of Lane Bryant gray-black cheetah print jeans. They sold for $15. My cost of goods was only 65 cents at the Goodwill outlet or the bins. And so my profit ended up being $11.35, and they sold in 136 days. So after that long-winded what sold video, my total numbers for March, I sold 115 items, which was the highest number of items I've sold in a month to date. My gross sales was $2,118, which again was highest per month to date. And so my average sales price per item was $18.41. Now the important number, my net profit. Okay, so I'm going to preface this by saying my goal for 2021 was to have at least 1 month of net profit $1,000 or more. I hit that in January, so that goal's already done. But then it happened again this last month. My net profit was $1,382.27. My average profit per item was then $12.02. So like I said, I think consistently listing really helped my numbers, and I'm excited to see what April will bring. However, we are listing our house for sale. We are just have a lot of stuff this month with work and with personal, so I'm not sure how much time I am going to be able to devote to Poshmark compared to last month, but we're going to try and see how we do.